Good morning all. We woke up to a magical winter wonderland out there. So had to get bundled up before I came over to the studio, even got the wool socks out and boots. So anyways, let's see today's plan. Let me flip the camera around and show you. All right, this video's plan is to paint one more of these little mini paintings. So far, I have 6 done in 6 different art styles, and today's art style is pop art. But before we jump into this video, here's a quick introduction in case you're new around here and wondering what this channel is all about. Hi there, I'm Stacy, the encaustic mixed media artist behind Studio Stacy. Encaustic literally means to burn in. So I paint with beeswax and a torch, and because it's mixed media, pretty much anything else I can get my hands on. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Consider subscribing and joining this artsy community. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, which helps me get introduced to more like-minded artsy folks like yourself. Also, before I can start this mini painting, I need to get this mess cleaned up in the studio. I'll flip the camera on and show you, but it is a disaster. I kind of left it that way from the previous video. Not completely on purpose, but I was running out of time and I had to run to the grocery store to pick up some festive Christmas dinner type of groceries. So speaking of which, I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas if you celebrated Christmas or just enjoyed the day in general. So yeah, let me get the studio cleaned up first, and then I will show you kind of my plans for this video's painting. All right, ta-da! A lovely cleaned off work surface. Well, kind of cleaned off. There's still some, you know, waxy drips, but that's just going to stay there for now. And this is the rough idea for my painting today. All right, so let's talk about this little sketch here. So one of the most, I would say, popular pop art artists is Andy Warhol, and he did I think it was a screen print, I'm not 100% sure, I'll fact check myself here, of Marilyn Monroe, which I'll put in a few images here of that. And so I'm kind of running with that idea, except my whole point of these painting style little mini paintings are to do like tree themed and nature themed. So instead of Marilyn Monroe, I am doing John Muir. I think that's how you say his last name. Any of you nature lovers out there, feel free to correct me. But I am doing a Marilyn Monroe kind of Andy Warhol theme, but instead of Marilyn Monroe, I'm using John Muir. So that's the plan, and that's the idea behind this little mini, like, rough painting idea. And I'll put in a couple images here. But basically, I did this on the computer, and I took a picture off of the computer of John Muir, and I took and stylized it on my computer program and basically turned it into just like a black and white, mainly black shadow areas, darker shadows on his face. And then I took that and did like a tracing, if you will, of it. And then I took that and put it over top of some different colors. And that's kind of how I came up with this idea, but of course I don't want to just print that out. I'm going to attempt to do this with encaustic wax. So we'll see how this goes. But anyways, that's kind of the idea behind this painting, and we'll see if it works out. All right, so step one is to pick out some paint colors. So of Gonna get out some paint colors and then we'll see about putting some paint down on this little mini painting. I'm hoping I can kind of get these areas masked out that I want to without the paint kind of intermingling. We're just gonna see what happens here.
All right, now that I have those colors picked out, I thought I would briefly go over what pop art is and kind of the history behind pop art in case you're unfamiliar with it. Pop art started in the mid 1950s and reached its height in 1960s in America and Britain. Pop art took inspiration from popular culture, hence the name. The movement began as a revolt against traditional views on what art should be. Pop art artists felt that what they were taught in art school and what they saw in museums did not have anything to do with the things that they saw around them every day. They aimed to blur the boundaries between what was considered to be high art and low culture. Some of the imagery used in pop art include things like celebrities such as Marilyn Monroe, as I mentioned earlier, and Elizabeth Taylor, and consumer products like Coca-Cola and Campbell's Soup. Artists drew inspiration from mass media, comic books, advertising, magazines, pop music, and mass-produced consumer goods. One of the methods used by artists of this time included screen printing to produce works faster, comparable to mass consumption. Whether this suggests an acceptance of the popular world or a critique on consumerism culture has been a subject of debate. It is believed that some pop artists were illustrating how constant media reproduction desensitized people, making shocking events seem mundane. This particular art style is characterized by the use of bold colors and the use of realistic or even hyper-realistic imagery. Some of the most notable pop artists include Andy Warhol, Roy Lichtenstein, and Jeff Koons. And now that you know a little bit more about pop art, sit back, enjoy the music, and enjoy this painting. Let's see if we can get this done today.
All right, all, one more is done. I just need to get this studio cleaned up so that when I come back next week to do another one of these minis, it will be ready to go and nice and clean for me. But before I jump into cleaning this mess up, let me flip the camera around and show you this little mini painting. I'm really happy with how it came out. And I think you noticed I added a little Bombay ink in to highlight a few areas, and that came out quite nicely, I think. Alright, all, here's the paintings we have so far, and here is today's painting. I'm really liking how they're all very, very different. No two are at all alike whatsoever, as they should be. Yeah, I'm really just liking how all of the different art styles are kind of popping out there. I might actually do a few more next year in 2026. Crazy to say. We're not there yet, so let's not speed up too fast here. But I will be picking you back up on Tuesday of next week, so we'll see you then. Unless I get up to anything else here, and then if so, I'll click some of those, or I won't click. I'll put some of those clips in here now. Hopefully we'll do something fun. We'll see.
All right, as you can see, it has stopped snowing, and I thought I would do a couple of quick winter chores here, one of which involves a bit of snow removal. As you guys know, we have mini splits that heat the barndominium and the studio, and so I'm just going to quickly clean these off with a snow brush. Last year in the studio, I don't know if you remember, but my unit froze up a bit. So trying to keep it clean so that the heat stays on in the studio. And now that those are cleaned off, I'm just going to be gathering up some wood so that we can start a nice toasty warm fire over in the barndominium. It is definitely toasty warm fire season, and I'm so grateful that we have this wood, that we chopped this wood earlier in the year so that we can have a little bit of supplemental heat. And of course, it provides a nice atmosphere here in the barndominium. Just wanted to say thank you again so much for coming along. Hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It really, really does help us out. And yeah, I will see you next week for another painting video. Can't believe the year is almost over. We'll see you then. Bye for now.